Why do we listen to opinions that don't love us? Who benefits from us? There's no perfection here, just real life, real thoughts, and room to breathe. I'm actually really glad you're here. Hey, welcome to The Real Tea Show. I'm Tara, and this is where we talk about real life without the filters, the pressure, or any pretending at all. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by expectations or like you're just doing life wrong, you're not alone. And I want to talk about it. Okay, so I have some questions for you. Why do we listen to opinions that don't love us? Who benefits from us believing we're never enough? Who benefits? What would change if we trusted ourselves more? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and just all of the noise that comes from the world and the people in it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast about this because I know there's so many of you out there, myself included, that hears the noise, that gets bogged down by the noise. It's extremely exhausting to live in a world where we feel all these pressures coming from other people that surround us. Like what's in our head isn't enough. But we have these pressures constantly coming from our surroundings. Like the world tells us that relationships have to look a certain way or they're broken. It tells us that if our marriage is hard, that maybe it's unfixable. If our spouse doesn't love us in an exact way, like the exact way that we imagined, that maybe they're not right for us. And if things are rocky, maybe we should just walk away. I am such a marriage advocate. If we go back to our vows, we specifically vow to be there through thick and thin, through sickness and in health, through the darkest parts of our lives. And truly, I believe that right there, that in the darkest parts of our marriage and our relationships, that's where love comes in. Love is not a feeling. It is a choice. You literally have to choose love every single day. But that's a whole nother topic I could get on and ramble on forever. But I don't know when this default message became so normal, where it is so heavy. This message that if it's in a tough season, that maybe it's broken and all of these things. And that's not the case. Everything is actually fixable. The world does this with parenting too. It tells us there's a right way to raise our kids. There's a right schedule. There's a right method. There's a right balance. And if we don't do it that way, then clearly we're messing something up. And I hate that kind of pressure. For me, I hate it for everybody else because parenting is hard in general. And suddenly everyone has an opinion about the way that we parent, what you allow, what you don't, what you should change, what you're doing wrong, as if it's any of their business. I'm not saying that like in a mean way, like, hey, buzz off, it's not your business. But at the same time, it really isn't their business. I have so many friends who have called me, they're like, oh, my mother-in-law or my friend or my somebody is constantly putting all of these thoughts in my head that I'm not doing it right, or maybe I should do it differently or something like that. And it's such an unnecessary pressure, in my opinion, that could ruin us and put all this pressure on us that gets in the way of our parenting. I know that sometimes when I feel a lot of pressure and things, that it actually affects my parenting and my love doesn't come out the same way. And the thing is, it doesn't stop there. The world tells us how to look, how we should feel, how healed we should be by now, how confident we should sound, how successful we should already be. And if we're not already there, the message is the same. Fix yourself. And yeah, there's always improvements that we can do for ourselves, but that is for us to choose. It's not anybody else's pressure that should be added to our lives. Even with starting this podcast, I got caught up in it. I told myself that it had to be perfect, that it had to be in a studio, that I had to have every single thing planned out. Oh, someone's calling me. That I wasn't allowed to read or go to my notes or anything like that. And then I realized that pressure is exactly what I'm talking about. Why do we think that real things need the permission to exist? This is real life, and we're all going through it for the first time ever. Recently, I was even thinking, like, even with our parents, like we look to our parents as like, a lot of times being more advanced than us, having the answers to things, not allowing them a space to make mistakes or be learning along the way. But when you think about it, like my parents, They're literally learning life for the very first time at the age that they're at right now in this season of their life. Like I am in my season of life, living it for the very first time. So we're all just learning how to get through life at the same time in different seasons and different phases. And we need to give ourselves some grace. I was even thinking about another time when you're having a baby, the world's going to confuse you. It's all going to overwhelm you with opinions, and people will ridicule you if you don't do it their way. Like breastfeed, do or don't. Schedule on your kids or no schedule. Stay home or work. Do more, do less. And it's a ridiculous amount of pressure on people who are already giving like everything that they have. When you get married and you have kids, you feel like you're giving literally every ounce of yourself every minute of every day. And when someone comes and puts in your mind that you're not doing it right, what a horrific pressure that is. And like I said, it can affect your parenting. Grandma once told me, and I will never forget this, she said, all you can ever do is your best. You can't control anybody else. You can't control their behavior, who they become. You can only control you and how well you put your efforts into things. Always do our best. We can love our kids. We can guide them. We can pray for them. We can show up. I can't express the importance of showing up for your kids, giving them a safe place to be themselves, to learn, to go through life for the first time. They need you, and they don't need to feel belittled, ridiculed by you. But I believe that some of these parenting tactics come from the pressures that we feel from other people in the outside world. And that's why it's best to shut out that noise, do what you know is best for you and your family, and it's going to be okay. We're all going to go through hardships, and we're all going to have to learn how to survive through them. And that's why it's best for us to listen to our own hearts, our own gut feelings, and do what is best for our family. Because honestly, no one in the whole entire world knows more than you, knows more about your family than you. So why do their opinions have to, find their way in? Our children are going to become who they are. That's just how it is. You can't force them into a mold. You can't control who they become or who they were meant to be. But the world will still talk about how you parent as if raising a human is about performance instead of a relationship. I wonder a lot of the times, why is the world so harsh? Why do we feel like we have to listen to everyone's opinions about us, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how just basically all the things in between, especially when we already all have so many things on our plate. I think that sometimes when people are giving their opinions, it's because their plates are full and they don't know what to do with this full plate. And so they start spewing things onto other people. Like we all have so much on our plates, whether it's a couple or all of these, like marriage and parenting and work and our finances and our mental health and our physical health, our faith, our identity. I could go on and on and on. Aren't we all just trying to be good people? We're all surviving the unknowns of life together, like I said before. But here's what I'm starting to believe. Most of the pressure we feel isn't truth. Goes back to that. It's just noise. It's noise. It's distractions from ourselves. And not all of that noise deserves our attention. I can't stress enough that you're not failing because your life doesn't look like everybody else's. Your marriage isn't broken because it's just in a hard season. And if you have a lot of hard seasons, that doesn't mean your marriage is broken. You're not a bad parent because you choose what works for your family, And you're not behind just because your path looks different than somebody else's. And going back to what my grandma said, always just do your best in any and all situations. So I want to reiterate, if you're tired, you are not weak. If you're unsure, you're not lost. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by expectations, maybe it's not you that needs fixing. Maybe it's the voices that you're listening to. We're all learning. We're all figuring this out in real time. And maybe the most freeing thing that we can do is stop letting the world tell us who we are supposed to be. Think about that for a second, a hard second. Give it your best and let the rest go. Let people's opinions go. Let their expectations of you go. And I'll be going into this on another session, but let expectations go of other people. You'll find that you don't get hurt so much. You'll find that you don't get disappointed as much. You can't expect you in other people's, because then you're putting that pressure on them as well. Expectations kind of destroy everything, in my opinion, when you really get into it. And you don't want to add that pressure to other people, and you don't want that pressure on yourself either. Let it all go. Remember that you're not failing. You're not behind. You're not weak. You're not doing it wrong. Just be you. Listen to your heart, listen to your gut feelings, and do what is best for you, because nobody else in the whole wide world knows what's best for you than you. One more thing I want you to think about is, maybe I'm not failing. Maybe I'm just human, and all of you are just human. Give yourself a break. Let go of everyone's expectations and do your best. I want to thank you all for being here and listening today. If this episode resonated with you, just know that you're not alone. Give everything your best. Let the rest go. And I'll meet you back here next time.